Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to Momentum Chat. I am Majida Bay, your financial conductor. And today we are going to have a phenomenal show, right? This is our ABCs of Wealth series. And today we're talking about quality versus quantity. All right. So get a pen, get a pad, tell a friend, like, share this. And we'll be getting started in just a moment. Alrighty, so I just realized that y'all may not be able to hear me. Got to make sure my audio is working. But welcome again to Momentum Chat. I am Ajita Bay, your financial conductor. I help parents and professionals get on the right financial track and become someone both their parents and children can be proud of. We have been talking about wealth, all right, over the past several weeks. And today we are talking about quality versus quantity. All right. So when it comes to building wealth, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask yourselves and others. And so I wanted to ask a few questions to our audience today. Just some things to ponder, some things to think about. And this week we're talking, our term this week is on Q. So quality versus quantity. So just a second, I want to share something. I'm talking and I'm muted. Good goodness. Getting it together today. I don't have my co-part, my counterpart. So let me first wish happy birthday to John Epting. It is his birthday today. That's why he's not with us. So if you all see this in the future, make sure you wish John a happy birthday. Let him know that we miss him this week, but we hope he's having a great birthday. And so he's gonna be with us this evening, but I know he'll be back with us next week. And so once again, right, we're talking about quality versus quantity, right, on our ABCs of Wealth series. And so the quality of our life is determined by the quality of the questions we ask ourselves and others. And so how do you define your wealth? Is it defined by your material possessions? Or is it the car that you drive, the house you live in, the clothes that you wear? A book that I had the fortune of reading several times, The Richest Man in Babylon, it says that person's wealth is not in what you see, right? It's not in their material possessions. If you steal somebody's wallet, right, and they're a wealthy person, like you're not going to acquire their wealth, right? Because it's not what they carry on them. Their wealth really is greater than that. One of the ways that I define wealth is through relationships. What are the quality of the relationships in your life, right? Do you have a lot of toxic people or toxic relationships? Then you probably don't have a lot of wealth, right? But if you have great relationships that are thriving, that are fulfilling, relationships that challenge you and encourage you and support you, that actually is of greater wealth. Something that I've learned through a community that I'm a part of is really that the relationships that you have really are your true wealth, because you can get a lot more through your network, right? We've talked about that before on this show. Your network determines your net worth. And so if you have relationships with people who can get you in the doors that you otherwise couldn't get in on your own, the quality of those relationships are so much more important than how many friends you have, right? You can have a lot of followers, you can have a lot of people that you maybe influence, but the close relationships in your life, what are the quality of those relationships and how do they impact your life? Do they help you to grow? Do they help to challenge you? Do they help you to scale, whether it's in your business? Do they help you become a better husband or father or mother or daughter? That's what quality comes to when it comes to wealth. When I think about the quality of your wealth. And so oftentimes when we look at what a person has, right? The car they drive, the house they live in, the clothes they wear, right? We get distracted by that. And we often chase after those things, right? We chase those carrots, thinking that that will in turn make us wealthy. But those are really just riches, right? Like those are items that can project wealth. They can have you perceiving that a person is wealthy. But when you think about really wealthy people, if you look at the way they dress or the cars that they drive, and even the homes that they live in, they're often very modest, right? So they don't wear their wealth. They don't drive their wealth. Nothing wrong with that if you want to do that. But it should match or mirror your true wealth, right? Like I said, in your relationships, maybe the money that you have in the bank, that is a measure of wealth. Whether you're able to keep the money that you make versus spending it all, right? Because that's what happens with a lot of people. They make as much money they make, they turn around and they spend just as much, and so that can often lead to not being wealthy and becoming poor or living in poverty, because you're spending money to look like you have wealth instead of truly acquiring it. And, in the business that we're in, when we talk about financial services, our focus really is on helping people have true wealth, right? Having something behind when you're no longer here. I know that's one of the things that's most important to me, is having something that once I'm gone, I can leave behind a legacy, right? That the next generation can build on, and they can be better off, far better off than I am, and they can grow upon that. And so I have to look at the quality of the things that I have in my life, from relationships to the things that I invest in. Something that I learned at a conference very recently was that uh, oftentimes people acquire the stuff and they project that as who they are. But really, if you focus on what's called self actualization or self esteem, then that can actually allow you to have the things that you want. So instead of focusing on getting the things first, focus on becoming who you were created to be, being authentically who you are, knowing yourself. And by being yourself, by knowing yourself, you're going to attract the people, the resources, and the things that you want in life, to help you to have the stuff that you want. I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine some time ago, and we talked about, in this journey called life, right? We do what we're supposed to do, right? We go to school, we get good grades so we can get a job. And on that path, right, we get the job. And then the question is, what's next, right? After you get the job, what's next? And so what I recognized was that I was focused on having things, right? Have the job so I can have the stuff. And so I got the stuff, but then I wasn't fulfilled, right? I wasn't satisfied. I wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled. And so once I got the stuff, it was like, okay, what is it that I really want? Or what is it that I really want to do? And so it led me on a path to where I started, you know, being exposed to different ways of earning income, different opportunities. And that exposure allowed me to see things from different perspectives, right? Instead of the traditional model of getting a job and, kind of coasting through life and writing it out, I saw ways that you could actually create and design your life through entrepreneurship, or through gig, right? They call this the gig economy, where you can earn income in so many different ways versus, just working a 40-hour-a-week job. And so I pursued those things, right? And got exposed to those different ways of earning income. And so I saw other ways that I could do things, right? So first I focused on having stuff, and I got the stuff. Then it's just like, okay, this stuff doesn't fulfill me, so maybe I have to do something different. So I tried something different. So I did some different things. And then after doing different things, I'm like, all right, well, that's it gives me some exposure. But in the end, I realized that, like, who do I want to become? And those are, like I said, the questions that we ask ourselves and others. When I ask myself, like, who do I want to become? Like, what do I want my life to mean? What will this all mean in the end? And so I've learned, through different avenues, that the focus should be on being first, right? Being who you were created to be, being your authentic self, knowing yourself, reaching that self-actualization and self-esteem, being first. Then you can do the things. Once you know yourself, then that'll align with what you should be doing. There's this phenomenal assessment called the DISC assessment. And through a community that I'm a part of, they call it the flight assessment. And through that, you get to know yourself, and it shares with you, what environments are best for you to work in, or how it's best to communicate with you. And so having that understanding of yourself can help guide you into what you actually should be doing. I believe there's a lot of people who are in jobs that they probably shouldn't be in because it doesn't align with their natural tendencies, right? Their natural, their natural preferences. But they're doing a job maybe because they can make a lot of money, or, it's something that they're qualified to do, but it doesn't really align with who they are. And so if we focus on being first, then doing what's aligned with who we are, then we could have the things that we truly want in life. And oftentimes I think we get that in reverse. We have the stuff, then we figure out that, okay, I have this stuff, but I'm not happy, so maybe I should do something different. And then you do something different and you realize that you're still not satisfied. And then, in the end, you realize that maybe I should become, maybe I should just be something, be who I really wanted to be. And I actually remember listening to a gentleman by the name of Tim Story. And one of the things he shared was that we are human beings, not human doings. But oftentimes we're often focused on doing, right? I gotta go to work. I gotta pick up the kids. I gotta make breakfast. I gotta make lunch. I gotta do. And we don't really spend time just being who we are. I know that's something that I struggle with, just being able to sit and be, quiet, or just be present, where I am. I'm always thinking about what I have to do next. And, I got this to do. And so finding that time, that quiet time to really get to know yourself. That's definitely an area for me that I'm working on, is spending that time, quality time, getting to know myself. And it may not require a lot of time, but consistent time, I think, is necessary. I know quality versus quantity is something that I struggle with in the relationships with my children. Oftentimes, they want a lot of time with mommy, and I'm like, I don't have a lot of time just to spend with you guys because there's stuff that I got to do. But I want the time that we do spend together to be quality. I want to be able to be present. And so that is an area that I'm working on to make my schedule, or have my schedule reflect my values. There's a quote I came across some time ago. It says, when you are clear about your values, it becomes easy to make decisions. And so I value quality time with my children. I value having a connection with them. And so my calendar and my bank account should reflect that. I know my bank account does, but my calendar doesn't always. And so that's an area that I want to work on as well. Investing more quality time with them, being able to schedule things with them, Often I know as a single mother, I'm focused on providing and, making sure that they have what they need and, making sure they get to school and, they're supported in those areas. But sometimes it's important just to be with them, be silly or watch a movie together or play a board game. And so that quality time with them will mean so much more in terms of our relationship and our connection than the quantity of time that I do spend with them. But it's something that I can't ignore, right? Because children spell love Time, right? So they don't understand as they get older. They do. I know my oldest daughter at 7 now. She's starting to understand that a lot more. That mommy has to do certain things to be able to provide for them. But at the same time, she also wants to spend time with me, right? She wants me to watch her practice her gymnastics routine. The one she made up in the hallway at the house, or just play a game with her, or go to the playground, or whatever it may be. And so that quality versus quantity definitely matters. And it's all part of the wealth, because while I'm acquiring financial wealth for the next generation, it won't really mean much to them if I don't invest the present time with them, right? I leave them a bunch of money, and because mom never spent time with them, they go blow it all. So there's definitely a balance in being able to recognize the importance of investing time, investing money, investing resources in order to have the things that you want, in order to have that true wealth. We've heard oftentimes how wealthy people or rich people, will have a lot of money, but they don't have a relationship with their children, or they're estranged from their spouse. And that's not what I want, right? Like that doesn't define true wealth for me. I want wealth in all areas. I want wealthy relationships, a wealthy bank account, uh, wealthy experiences and exposures. And so quality is important in terms of building wealth more than it is quantity, because you can have a lot of um, associates or acquaintances. Like when you have a lot of money, they said there's it's a phrase or a quote that says that um, what is it? The more the more money you have, the more relationships you have, something to that effect. Um, or more relatives you have, right? Money is relative. That's what it is. Money is relative. The more money you have, the more relatives you have. And so you could have a lot of those, but do people really care about you, right? Are they invested in your development? Are they invested in your future? Or do they invest in you, right? Are they willing to invest time with you? Do things to help you, and vice versa. I definitely believe that the wealth is in the mutualism in relationships as well. Are you giving as much to the relationship as you're getting, and vice versa? Are you getting as much as you're giving? That's so important in terms of your wealth. I know that's an area too that I've had some challenges with, is giving more to some relationships than I, focus on getting. And that's why it's so important to have that self awareness. And like I said, having that self actualization. Just actually recently, like the last couple of days, I've been thinking a lot about that. Like, what is it that I really want? I can pinpoint certain situations where I've done things right for other people, right, and I can kind of look back, and a lot of the things that I've done were for other people. And so regrouping and getting refocused so that I can focus on doing things for me. Like, really, what do I want? That's a great question to ask yourself. What do you want? Oftentimes we define what we want by what it does for other people. Well, I want this for my children. What do you want? Well, I want this for my parents. Well, what do you want? And so the quality of our life, we have to give ourselves some attention to. And so wealth is not just about financial wealth. I like to define wealth by your intellectual capital, your intellectual wealth, right? What you learn, right? The experiences that you've had and being able to share that with other people, that's wealth. Your social capital, right? The people, your network, right? I mentioned earlier, that also defines your wealth. Wealth is also defined by, like I said, your, what you do have financially in terms of wealth. That also defines your wealth, right? But the quality of those things is so important. The quality of your network, the quality of the information and experiences that you've had. And if you're not exposed to much, there's not much for you to share and to give to others. And so just simply by exposing yourself, reading books or going on different excursions, if you will, having different experiences actually increases your knowledge or your wealth. And those are all things that add to the quality of relationships that you have with other people. And so wealth is a vast area to think about, in terms of how you're able to impact others. And so ask yourself some questions, right? I mentioned in the description, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask yourself and others. And so when you think about wealth, when you think about the quality of your life, how would you define your wealth today? And how would you define the wealth that you want for your future? And over this next week, right? Or, if you're listening to this in the future, just take some time to consider that. Think about how quality is of greater value than quantity. And then focus on increasing the quality of your life and not just the quantity of the things that you possess. Well, this has been our Momentum Chat. I am Majida Bay, your financial conductor. And once again, we want to say happy birthday to John Epting. Hope you have a phenomenal day. And we look forward to seeing you again next week. And we have a few more weeks left, right, to round out the year. I think we have maybe about 10, 11 weeks left, maybe 10 weeks left in the year. And so really, really excited about some of the things that are coming down the pike and some of the changes that are happening. But we really, really want for those that are listening to this, share it with a friend, like it, give us some comments, let us know whether you're getting some value out of this. And then if you need some help in the area of finances, you can always reach out to John or myself. You can book an appointment on our calendar. We do a complimentary financial consultation to help you get clear on what your values are in terms of money and whether you need to make some changes or tweak a few things to get you on a better track financially. And so we appreciate you all for listening in. We look forward to seeing you guys next week at our next Momentum Chat as we continue the ABCs of Wealth series. This is week 17. We have 9 more letters in the alphabet, maybe 10 more weeks in the year. So we'll see. It'll be close. But we appreciate you tuning in. We look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great week.